to get to the life that you want to design, and it's exactly the way you want it, it comes with the work. So we cannot put things past doing the work. A lot of the stuff you heard in there is just reminding you that you have to do the work, that this takes work. If it was easy, everybody would do it. This takes work. You got to be like, hey, I'm not going to let people outwork me. I'm going to do more. I'm going to put in more hours. I'm going to practice my craft more. I'm going to get better every day. I'm going to be focused every day on these things. I'm not going to allow society and my friends and my family to slow me down because they're not at the place I want to get to. They're not living the life that I want. So I'm not going to take advice and take information in from people that aren't taking me or getting me to where I want to go. So I have to remember this is work. I got to put in the work ethic. I got to go. I got to push. It's activity. I think it was Patrick Bet-David in there that said the way that you show the world that you're serious is by packing your calendar, by activity, by saying I'm busier. I'm pushing myself more. Activity over words. Don't just be a person that talks about it, right? Good old saying, don't talk about it, be about it, right? Don't just talk and say what you want to make happen and how this year is going to be. No, how are we doing this? What are you doing? What actually did you implement? You guys some of you jump on these calls 3 times a week. What have you implemented? You hear a lot of stuff. It might motivate you, inspire you, but what have you implemented? What did you actually put into your life over this past month, over these past 3 months, over these past 6 months that have changed the trajectory of your life, that have changed how you think about something? Activity over words, ladies and gentlemen. Another thing I wrote down is you got to be hungry. You got to be hungry. That is the number one trait that you look for in somebody that's going to be successful, is that hunger. It's that I'm not satisfied with this. That's going to lead into our text about being happily dissatisfied. You have a dissatisfaction. You don't have what you are looking for. You are continuing to push. You're hungry. I challenge all of you, increase your hunger level, not just in the physical, not just how hungry you get to eat food, but your actual hunger for your desire, for what you want, for the life that you want. You can increase your hunger level if you're ready to outwork people. Something else I wrote down, sacrifice. What are you willing to sacrifice? What are you willing to sacrifice to get to your goals? There's a price tag on success. There's a price tag on greatness. That price has to be paid in full up front. So what are you willing to pay? What is the sacrifice? Some of us have to sacrifice friends. Some of us have to sacrifice family. Some of us have to sacrifice TV or vices or whatever. But what are you sacrificing to get to that place? You have to become different. I just had this conversation with a lady that I'm coaching financially, and she said she wanted to go on her birthday trip. By the way, coaching her financially because, like many of us, she's not in the best place financially, right? Got some debt, not making all the money she wants to, doesn't really have savings, just trying to figure it out, got a spending habits, all those types of things. But yet we have a conversation that in 3 months, she wants to throw herself a birthday party, right? She wants to go travel for her birthday, which is very common for people. And I had the real conversation with her to say, do you deserve that birthday present? Like, do you deserve, after you look back at this year, I know you survived, but do you deserve to send yourself on a trip that costs $2,000, $3,000 just because it's your birthday? Because financially, your paperwork, right? Your finances are saying you don't deserve that. You didn't do what you needed to do this past year to reward yourself with a birthday present of going off and spending $2,000 or $3,000 on a vacation. How many of us do this? How many of us reward ourselves even though we don't deserve that reward? We didn't do what we said we were going to do in our health. We didn't improve in our financial life. We didn't save the money we said we wanted to. None of the things happened in the year that we actually wanted to make happen, yet we reward ourselves with gifts, with prizes, with birthday trips, with holiday stuff. We reward ourselves. Well, we got to take that stuff away. Listen, if you didn't do what you said you were going to do, you don't deserve the reward. You don't deserve to go spend the money. If you didn't save the money, you don't deserve it. So we got to understand there's sacrifices to this life. There's sacrifices to get to the life that we want. That's right. We cannot cheat success. Here's what it says in the text. Number 145 says, champions are happily dissatisfied. A guy said that in there, that you want to be happily dissatisfied. That means you want to have a level of dissatisfaction. You can still be content. You can still find happiness. It doesn't mean that you have to be miserable to go after your goals and dreams, but there has to be a level of being happily dissatisfied, blissful dissatisfaction. That's what you need to continue to drive you to where you want to be. Here's what it says in the text. It says, average people have been labeled somewhat dissatisfied. This level of dissatisfaction probably says more about their lack of belief in themselves than it does about their feelings of contentment. If a person earns $50,000 per year and believes he has the ability to earn $60,000 per year, a low level of dissatisfaction with $50,000 likely results. On the other hand, a person earning $50,000 a year who believes he can earn $500,000 a year is very dissatisfied with his results. World-class performers understand the power of healthy dissatisfaction and are in a never-ending quest to raise their level of expectation and upgrade their beliefs. While average people believe if you don't expect much, you won't be disappointed, champions believe the only way I'll be disappointed is if I don't take the risk and give it my all. This is a classic example of how directly opposite philosophies drive these two groups. The results are obvious. The middle class ends up playing it safe in order to gain comfort and security. The world class becomes the movers and shakers. A good description of the world class is happily dissatisfied. The great ones are in the habit of playing in the game of life without a net, and it all begins with the pain of being dissatisfied with their current results. So again, happily dissatisfied starts with your level of expectation, what you believe about yourself, what you believe is true for your life. This is a great example. If you make $50,000 a year, but you only believe that you're worth $60,000 or $65,000, you'll have a low level of dissatisfaction because you see you're pretty close to what you believe you're worth. You make $50,000, you're like, man, if I could just get to that next position, I'll get to that 60 or 65,000, and that's where I deserve to be. But you're still not that dissatisfied with 50,000 because you're close. But the other side is also true. The other side says if you make 50,000 and you're used or you want to or you believe you deserve 500,000 a year, well, your dissatisfaction is great. You're like, I'm 10% of my income. I'm way below my expectation. I'm way below where I should be. So now I'm really dissatisfied. I have a high level of dissatisfaction because I believe I'm worth so much more. So first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, you have to raise your level of expectation for yourself. Raise your level of expectation. You want to have the stamina, the grit, the power to keep working. And like Andy Frisella's in there saying every minute, every day, every week, every month, right? Like you want to have that type of stamina. Well, you have to be dissatisfied to a degree that allows you to go. If your goals are big enough, they pull you to do more work. They pull you to actually doing the things that you're supposed to do. So that's why they said it in the video. You can't be around people that already have settled for mediocrity. They've already settled for where they are. They're going to make you settle. They're not going to allow you to take your life to that next level because they're going to keep you average. You make $50,000 a year and the friends around you make 70,000. They're going to be like, oh, you're all right. You're almost there. That's okay. You don't have to work hard. You just got to find this thing. They're going to find ways to keep you average. But that's not getting us to the life we want. So we have to raise our level of expectation. Raise your level of expectation of what you believe you deserve. You deserve to make multiple six figures if that's in your cards, right? You deserve to spend time with your family. You deserve to vacate. You deserve all those things. but you're far away from them. You're far away from them. You're not going to go get it this week. You're not going to go get it in 2 months. You have to be dissatisfied to the degree to know that you're far away from those things. And now we got to put in the work. Now we got to put in the work. That's what that whole video is about, is learning, is understanding that this is just about you getting yourself to the place where you are outworking other people to get to your life, to get to the life that you want. We can't have average work ethic and expect to live a life that other people, right, don't get a chance to live. So stepping out of that comfort zone, raising that level of expectation, knowing that you deserve more, understanding that you're called to do more, understanding that you are flying way below, settling way below what God's called you to do, way below. You're not even close. You're not even close to the highest, grandest vision of your life, of all of your talents and skills and abilities. You're not even close. So you have to get that dissatisfaction to know that you got a ways to go. You got a ways to go. And then again, it says it in here in the text, it says average people believe if you don't expect much, you won't be disappointed. Well, that's not our thought process. We have to expect much, right? We have to expect abundance. We have to expect greatness. That's our expectation. We're not going to say, well, we're going to lower our expectations so we're not disappointed. That's middle-class thinking. We're champions. We're world-class thinking. So the way that we think is, hey, the only way I'm going to be disappointed is if I don't give it my all and take the risk. If I have regrets, if on my deathbed, I'm saying, man, I wish I would have. Man, I wish I would have taken that risk. Man, I wish I would have started that business. I wish I would have quit that job sooner. I wish I would have had that conversation with that person. I wish I would have built that relationship with that person. Those are the regrets. That's the way a champion, a world-class person will feel disappointed, is if you don't get to do the things you have in your mind, the things that God has placed in you, your visions. If you do not take the risk and give it your all, actually push yourself to do it, that's how you'll be disappointed. Not if you set the bar too low, or not, excuse me, not if you set the bar too high. It's only if you set the bar too low and you don't go after it. That's how you have that dissatisfaction. That's when you'll be disappointed. So not us champions. We're going to continue to raise the bar. We're going to continue to raise the bar. We're going to raise our level of expectation. And then guess what? We're going to work to go after it. We're going to work to go after it. We're not going to wish it. We're not going to hope it. We're going to write out a plan. We're going to write down some goals. We're going to say by this date, by this time, here's where I'll be. We're going to measure it. We're going to pay attention to it. We're going to read it every day. We're going to look at it, and we're going to work. We're going to pay the price for the life that we're asking for. Always remember, you have to pay the price in full, up front. Got to pay the price. It doesn't just come to you. The life, we heard this from John Maxwell a couple of weeks ago, a few mornings ago, where he said, everything you want is uphill. Everything that you want is uphill. Everything that's great in your life is uphill. Nothing's the easy downhill slope where you just go into it and you just pick it all up and it just all comes your direction. It's all uphill. So that means we got to work. We got to outwork people. We got to be hungry. We got to know this is about our activity, not just about our words. We got to be willing to sacrifice. We got to be willing to take a step back. We got to be willing to take 3 steps back, to take 10 steps forward. Most importantly, you have to be happily dissatisfied. You have to still have that contentment. You have to still go through life with a smile on your face, not being bitter, helping people, right? That's the happy part of it, because you know you get a chance to. But that dissatisfaction part that ties in with your hunger, that's got to be strong. You got to have a real strong dissatisfaction for where you are. Here's the action step for today. It says, if you're satisfied in every area of your life, ask yourself why. Are you content because you're truly content? Or are you content because you don't believe you're capable of accomplishing or becoming more? Where does that contentment come from? We know we should be content, but are we content because we have all the things that we need? We have peace, right? Our faith life is in the right place. Are we experiencing that form of contentment? Or are we content because we've lowered our expectations for what our lives should be? We've lowered what we believe we're capable of. Because that's another form of contentment, but that's not the contentment that we want to experience. We want to know that we can become anything we want. We can continue to grow. You can continue to learn. We do not have fixed mindsets. We have a growth mindset, meaning you can learn and become a different person. The man or woman you are right now, in 6 months, in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, you can be a completely different person. And if you become a completely different person, you'll experience completely different things out of your life. If you become the person that says, I'm worth, I deserve, I identify with the $500,000 income and not the $50,000 income, you will become different. You will speak different. You will have different friends, different associations. You'll spend your money differently. You'll spend your time differently. Everything will change in your life if you believe you're different, if you believe that you're getting to that next place. I love you guys. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve to win. You deserve it. Your families deserve it, right? But you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. If you don't put in the work, don't deserve it. These are lessons that we teach our children, right? If you don't put in the work, you don't deserve it. If you don't do the thing, you don't deserve it. But because we put in the work, we deserve it. Thank you guys for showing up. I'm grateful for all of you that continue to show up. Share this with people. Remember, coming every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Share this with somebody that needs to hear it, that needs to jump on, that needs to experience something different, get their mind in a different place. And for all of you, go out there and apply all this stuff. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's too crowded down here at the bottom, guys. Time to get to the top. Love you guys. See you next week.